What's up, League? We are right now in the center of the universe, Times Square, New York City. You can see everyone's freaking crazy right now. Just came back from the Patriots game. Figured I'd do this video. I'm going to claim victory over Joe Drew right now in the league. I'm up by plenty of points. Great play. We're playing Rob Gronkowski and Brandon Cooks. Total of 0 points today. Awesome job, Joe. And just like that, you're 1 foot out of the playoffs. But with Josh Pulsifer looking like he's got a victory coming tonight, an unbelievable come-from-behind victory thanks to the Kansas City defense. Who's the other person that might be out of the league? It's this man, Mr. Josh Tucker, who just realized on the right back that he could be out of the playoffs. If he loses next week, Joe Drew loses or wins, and Josh Pulsifer wins. It all comes down to points. Josh is gonna be tied pretty much with Joe on points, so we're gonna see what happens next week. I'm pretty much clinch a playoff spot. Get to play Charlie next week. Josh Pulsifer is pretty much in the playoffs now because he'll beat Jack next week, his bye week. So he has a lot of points. Obviously, he's scoring almost 200 points tonight, so it's gonna be interesting. Anyway, I ran out of space there on the street. Just letting you know, it's gonna be an interesting week next week. So just know that Josh is gonna be looking at his lineup quite a bit, trying to figure out how not to get upset and not be in the playoffs. So anyway, catch you later.
Yours might be what you need to make the playoffs.
Fire Goodell.
Have a shot at playoffs? Sure. Everyone but the last 2 teams are in. Remember?
Jack Butler.
Got the measles, and they forfeited the season. So,
MKE Flatlander.
but you make the playoffs.
Belichick yourself.
So they're a tough team.
Doing all right.
Nothing's changed.
What's up, Family Feud? This is the special end of the season video, regular season finale, week 13. Because of these amazing scenarios that we have to do a major video. We have the whiteboard here at Thornton Academy. Just got done our Tuesday classes. There are so many scenarios. Every single matchup this week means something. I'm gonna talk about the top of the leaderboard, and Josh is gonna talk about the bottom of the leaderboard. So at the top here, let's see, he's got a Family Feud finale. So in my matchup, I'll put me as X and Charlie. What are we fighting for? It's fighting for 3rd place, okay? So I'm up big time in points, but we have the same record at 7-5. Okay, so the winner of this match gets the 3rd seed, which means they probably play Joe Tucker in the second round of the playoffs, assuming we get by the 1st round of the playoffs. So the winner of this gets the 3rd seed. However, we don't really know who we're going to play because the bottom is that exciting, and we don't even know who's going to make the playoffs. So obviously at the bottom, as Josh will talk about, we have Jack. Jack is all the way down here. He's out of the playoffs. Kyle and Joe Tucker already have their buys locked up. Good for them. Okay, 8, 9, and 3, and 8 and 4. I'm sitting there at 7 and 5 with Charlie. Charlie's team playing pretty well. Not gonna lie, but he's totally reliant on the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Dallas Cowboys. We all can look ahead and see in the 1st round of the playoffs that they have some really tough matchups, those 2 teams. So whoever gets to play Charlie is gonna probably have an advantage there in the 1st round of the playoffs. We'll see what happens. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and beat Charlie this week by about 40 points. I'm gonna call it by 40 points, just because my team's, better. Charlie's got a couple guys at the top that are really good, Le'Veon Bell and all the Cowboys. Eventually they're gonna come down to earth. So I'll win that one by 40 points, which will put me at 8 and 5, 3rd place. Not too bad considering some of the injuries I've had this year. So that'll put me in 3rd. So this is my final prediction board here. So in 1st place, I'm gonna make a prediction Kyle's gonna win this week, and we'll talk about the implications that has later on Mr. Joe Drew. 2nd place will be Joe Tucker. Still the favorite in my mind, if I have to be honest. I still think he is the best team. 3rd place, Belichick yourself, big time. 4th place, Charlie. Okay, so that's my prediction for the top 4. Okay, these 2 guys will get buys into the next round. I will be able to face a 6th place team, which could be any one of 3 teams, and Charlie will face the 5th seed. As you saw in my video, it wasn't until Sunday evening that Josh Tucker realized he may be out of the league, and it's pretty awesome. He was pretty flabbergasted, just like his DraftKings. Okay, so just he talks about DraftKings a lot. I know he won a lot of money last year. For about 24 hours straight, he talked about his DraftKings lineup. Asked me no less than 14 times. Starts off a sentence with, "Who do you like better?" And then he would give me 2 guys. Tinkered with it. all the time, won $0. I, out of spite, because I was sick and tired of hearing him asking me for advice about his DraftKings, made a lineup out of spite in 2.5 minutes. And I doubled my money. Went from $80 to about $170. That's just how it works. So this week, I'm going to be giving Josh his lineup for DraftKings. He needs some lineup help in this league too, because there's a pretty easy scenario where he will be out of the league, which would be pretty pathetic. To talk about that, I'm going to send it over to Josh Pulsiver making his video debut. We all saw his post last week of Jim Ross just talking about how Josh just threw Joe Tucker through a table and almost broke him in half, considering how close it was at the end of that game as well. Demaryius Thomas choking as usual, and the Kansas City defense coming through. So we're going to send it over to Josh, and he's going to talk about the bottom of the league.
Hey guys, what's up? My name is Josh, the other Josh in this league, unfortunately. And I'm making my video debut here. I kind of, put my hat. I was feeling good after last week. I threw my hat in the table there, or toe in the water, I guess would be the right phrase. When I posted that video, just kind of saying, hey, I'm here. Making an announcement off the top of the cage. No one saw that coming. Jeff threw me under the bus last week in the video, rightfully so. I told Jeff after Thursday night's game, I was like, I am done. This is over. I'm getting relegated. I'm in the bottom 2. It's done. But through the graces of the football gods, here I stand here and ready to make a push here at the end of the season. So that's what we're looking at here, this bottom 4, because I'll tell you what, besides the last place team in the league, which, again, in my years of fantasy football, I've never seen something like this, which we'll talk about. But, this is something interesting, and I have some really interesting experiences about fantasy football, which we'll talk about in another video another time. But anyways, let's look at those bottom 4 here, because we have some interesting things going on. So we have the top 4. Jeff just described those, so we'll leave those guys there. So coming into the bottom 4, we've got right now, and again, I'm going to talk about right now and then where we see things moving next week, because I've already made some official predictions, and I think they're accurate, and I'm going to throw it out there. So let's take a look at this. So right now in 5th, we have Nebraska, so that's Josh, okay? 6 right now, or I'm sorry, yeah, Nebraska. So right now 6 is me, so that's Fire Goodell. 7th is Joe, and then 8th, somewhere down here, is team not to be named. We'll leave that there. So that's kind of where we are. So these are the 3 guys we're looking at here. And I think looking at the matchups this week, and again, obviously they're matchups, they're predictions. We all saw last week with my win over Joe that these things are completely arbitrary, these predictions. So again, I do think though that based on current matchups, Josh right now is 6-6. I am 5-7. And Joe Drew is also 5-7. Now, based on my analytical predictions here, I believe we are going to transfer to this. So this is week 13. Well, after week 12, I should say. Week 13. Yeah. We are going to end here. 6-7, 6-7, 6-7. We are, folks, going to have a 3-way record tie for 5th place in the league. And looking at that right there, one of those teams is going to get relegated. All 6-7, it's going to come down to points. It's going to come down to points. So let's look at those points here real quick. Let's erase this board here. Points. This is where I feel good. All right, so coming into it, right now, looking at my board here, we've got 1614.1 for Josh. I have right now 1674.8. And if we're coming down to the points here, this is literally going to come down to fractions of a point this week. I'm calling it right now. And then lastly, Joe Drew has 1601 even. So looking at that, I have a big edge this week. I'm feeling good about myself. I am playing the Flatlander, which doesn't mean anything. I'm going to win if I didn't even wake up on Sunday. And that's going to really, I think, propel us to, if we all end 6-7 and we all score relatively in the same area, that's basically locked up the 5th seed for myself right here. And so in the past 2 weeks, I've come from literally counting myself out Sunday afternoon to 5th place in the league, just like that. I don't know if that's ever been done in this league, but I'm feeling pretty good about myself right now. And this $50 was definitely worth it joining the league. I know $50 is a big topic of discussion in this league, but we'll leave that to some other day. So final standings, I think, are going to transfer here after week 13. 2, Josh P, myself, 5th. 6 will be, in my prediction, Josh Tucker. And then 7th is Drew. And 7th and 8th basically means they're the same person. So Joe Drew is now in the same breath as Jack Butler, which I don't know what that means, but we'll just put it right there. Oh, I'll put 8th too. I'll put his name there because they belong together. Cool. So there's that. So there's our standing. So Jeff covered the top half. I've got the bottom half here. What's really going to be interesting are those playoff matchups. And again, I do see things shaking out pretty interestingly in that first round. I think obviously the top 2 teams, they've been very dominant all year. I agree with Jeff's assessment that Joe Tucker's team is probably the best if you look at it from any type of analytical perspective. But I do think in this situation right here, what we would have is you would have myself facing Charlie, the 4-5 matchup, and then you would have Jeff facing Josh Tucker. And we all know that they spent a weekend in New York together, and they're going to be having a battle next week in the playoffs. So I don't know if that's going to break up a friendship. I've seen things end over little less than that. So
exactly.
we're going to have to see what happens there. And then these two guys, I don't know if do we play a consolation game, Jeff?
Toilet bowl? No, we do not.
We do not have a toilet bowl. So I'm sorry.
So I just want to come in here, and Josh, you can stay on here.
Yes.
So what we're saying here with these 3, as far as how do they get into the playoffs?
Yeah.
Okay. So Nebraska, Firedale, you win, you're in.
I'm in.
Okay.
In.
So you win, and he's in.
In.
Okay. So that's the most likely scenario. Josh, who plays his brother Joe, okay, very tough matchup. If he wins,
he's in.
If he wins, he's in.
He'll be 7-6 if he wins, but I'm predicting a loss.
So if he wins, he's in. Okay, so if all 3 of these guys win, then it stays as is.
Yes, it'll stay as is. He's
because
out.
Joe is not going to finish the points. So it really gets interesting. Let's say you win. Okay, you're in. Okay, you're in 5th. Okay, Josh loses.
It'll be 6 and 7.
Joe wins against Kyle. Okay, Kyle's got a good team. Okay, so then we're going down to points. And as he said, we got 16-1 versus 16-14. As of right now, as of Tuesday morning, the difference projected between the 2 teams in there, I believe Josh is at 133.
Yep.
And Joe is like at 145.2. Okay, so we're talking legitimately within a couple yards of each other. This is what I want to happen. I want this as the nuclear option because I just want people to sweat it out. And what will be the last game? Pretty much would be Nebraska. He has Andrew Luck at the Jets Monday night. Will he be concussed or not? They're saying he's going to play. I don't know what's going to happen. This is fascinating. This is what this league's all about. I've been talking about how the regular season in this league has been very pointless in the past few years, especially last year when everyone made the playoffs, which was ridiculous. Okay, now 6 out of 8 making the playoffs is great. Good drama. The buys are set. One of the relegated teams is set. But anything can happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to make our official prediction. Josh made his prediction. I'm going to go outside the box. I'm going to do it. I think the way Josh's team has been playing, which means like he has 100 points on the bench every week, okay? I think he's going to have a decent week, but he will lose to his brother because Joe Tucker's team is just a steamroller, especially now with Odell Beckham, which was traded, a great trade. Obviously, I've been talking about just about every week. Great trade there. And I think Joe will beat Kyle.
I don't know. I don't think so. See, Kyle's going for first place.
Kyle's going first place, but I mean, he's got some good players. But
he's got to hold off because he's going.
I know, but Joe's going to pull out all the stops.
This is a battle between brothers. Yeah. That gets personal. Yeah, I know that.
That's true.
So I think Joe's going to pull out all the stops here. He's going to win.
He's going to win that one, but Joe Drew.
But that means he has to win.
He has to beat Kyle.
He has to beat Kyle, and so Kyle has to play his best lineup.
Yeah, Kyle will play his best because Kyle wants the number 1 seed.
Kyle wants the number 1 seed because if it comes down to a tiebreaker between ones and they're both 9 and 4,
right? Now it's
going to go to Joe. Joe's going to be the top seed
because I think Joe's going to score a crap ton of points this week. I looked at his matchups, so I think he will close this gap here. It's just whether or not he wins or he loses. Now, what's interesting too is that Josh was just saying the other day that the points differential, the fact that the points is the tiebreaker is crappy for him because he's beat Joe Drew, I think, twice. And Josh only get to play MKE Flatlander one time this year. So that's another thing to consider. But this is crazy. This is good mad scientists. We got the sleeves roll. This is just like election central. We should have put a little map up here.
I need an electoral map.
Next time we'll get an electoral map. So next week we'll be back. again, talking about playoff matchups. Unless Josh somehow gets out of the league, loses and gets out of the league, then he's probably just going to...
If I lose this weekend, I will quit the league. There, I said it. I said it.
I will burn this office to the ground. Okay. All right. So that's it from the board here at Thornton Academy, who is a Apple Distinguished School, national school. So we know what we're talking about.
Apple
Apple's
corporate
here, no
people
big deal.
in this room today.
Steve Jobs
no biggie.
Steve Jobs wasn't here.
Steve Jobs was not here. He is
in spirit.
Yeah, his spirit was here.
Anyway, we'll see you guys later. Good luck this Sunday. Belichick yourself. Top of the league.